بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. This is just a tafsil of the narration. The famous narration is لا تشد الرحال, that the conveyance should not be prepared, the animal should not be ready. But it means exertion should not be made, a great journey, a great expense, lot of effort, except towards 3 masajid. There was a time in history where it was made as an issue that can you travel anywhere else? And some people then made it like to travel anywhere else will be bid'ah, will be haram. So at that time it was explained that what the narration meant was that you don't make a special journey to any other masjid. Because whichever masjid you're going to go to, the reward is going to be same like the other masjid. But if you really want to make a journey, then there are 3 masjids. But the majority of the ahadith never even said, don't make a journey to any masjid except. The way the narration mentioned it was, that in the world there will be a lot of attractions and a lot of distractions. And man will have an ability to go to different places, what we call tour, siru fil ard. That you can tour the world, you can see different things, different sights. But after all of that there, the narration is saying that whatever you're going to visit in the world, you will one day realize that the only journey that was really worth it was the journey towards one of these 3 masajid. La tushaddu rihal. When you'll ask an individual also who really got a taste of the Haramain and Al-Aqsa, he says, wherever else you go in the world, you enjoy it for that few days. But when you come back, you really feel that the money was wasted. You went, you enjoyed, you came out tired, you came back with memories, you said unique it was. But you will never find your heart at that moment is like brimming with something. That it was worth the expense. The narration has shown, La tushaddu rihal. If you really want to exert yourself, then there are 3 masajid when you will make the journey and you will come back, you will never say it was too expensive. You will never say that there could have been something else. There's no replacement for it. How Quran has a certain effect that the more you read it, the more you enjoy it. These 3 lands are such that the more a person starts his journey, the more he finds the pull starts. There are those selected individuals of Almighty Allah. In South Africa, Hazrat Moulana Yunus Patel, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala has blessed him with that attraction towards the Haram. That there were some occasions in his life where he landed in the South African airport. And while in the airport as he's moving, then the thought came, let's go back to the Haram. In the airport, before going home, he made the decision, he bought a ticket, he went back onto a flight, and he went back again. So much was that desire. Now normally when we hear it, we'll first think about like how expensive that must be now. You just came from there. But when Allah Tabarak Ta'ala makes a call, Allah also makes the arrangements. This is the 3 lands which got nothing to do with money. It is 3 lands which has nothing to do with money. The proof of it is there are some people in the world, they have millions. But they have never made a journey to these lands. And there are those people who you will find have sold a car. And they went for Umrah and they said, when I come back, I'll look for a new car. Like, I'll get a car. But the desire in me to go now is like brimming, I have to go. So regarding these 3, a few things that will be mentioned. Most of it has been written in this book, Secrets of the Holy Land. This is more like just reading through it. Despite the numerous attractions laid out across the world, when Almighty Allah's call to His house is heard by the heart, the greatest of sinner will find himself spending huge amounts of wealth, enduring weeks of exhaustion, sleepless nights, tension, solely so that his heart can find solace in the blessed lands. Medina Munawwara will have its difficulty, Makkah Mukarramah will have its difficulty. Every journey got, as-safaru qit'atu min al-adhab. Every journey is hard. Recently when I made one journey to Canada, I said I always knew this narration, now I physically went through this narration. That flight was so long. As-safaru qit'atu min al-adhab, to go to Canada. One person said, you're so lucky you went to Canada. I told him, my friend, if you were with me, you will never journey again after this. Nothing is easy. As-safaru qit'atu min al-adhab. We flew that journey as we were in the air. It was a long journey as it. Going to Canada is not short like. One good thing is that Dajjal is far away, I realized on that day, from all of us. Very far. For him to interfere, he also must be getting tired. Very far. So flew, then we landed in one place, the eyes opened. Now why are we not taking off? We're supposed to take off. We just landed for refueling. So after about 2 hours sitting in that aeroplane, as it is, you're tired of sitting, they make the announcement that while we were in the air, something in the engine packed up. But they never want to spoil our sleep, so they never told us. They said rather land. Then immediately said, but don't worry, we were okay. So we were okay. Then after another 1 hour, they told us, please go out, because we don't really know what's happening. So we inform you all. So we went out. Now, normally when you stop normally transit, that airport already knows that so many passengers are going to come. And then you enter from one door in the new airport, and by the time you walk, you go through, then you go to whatever they call it, border control or something, then you walk, there's some shops, if you want to buy something, you buy something. You go read Salah, you go look for a place to rest, you walk around for a while. And then all that takes about 2 hours, then we say, right, start moving in that direction, now start getting ready for the next aeroplane. But now you put in a place in one room where they have no records of who are the passengers of the aeroplane. They're supposed to keep you sitting in the aeroplane for half an hour, refuel and carry on, but now that half an hour has become 2 hours. So they tell you, go in the airport in Dublin, but there's no record of your name, so to make sure you don't go anywhere. So they have a small room and they got guards at the doors. The guards are not there to make life easy for you, to make sure you don't go nowhere. You must just stay here. So that Dublin place had place for about 50 people to sit, and now you send 300 people to look after that place. So whoever got the first seats, they were lucky. By the time the remaining 250 came, they had to sit on the floor. I was lucky on that occasion. I had food from home, because normally we don't eat in an aeroplane. Everyone else who enjoys the aeroplane meal, they never knew that they're going to be now put out of the aeroplane for so many hours with no food. If anyone wanted to make money on that day, all he had to do was to bring anything into our small room. Whatever he brought, whatever price he wanted, people would have given it. A chocolate, crisp, anything, because you could see children crying, children moving around. While I was trying to eat, you're feeling shy, no one must see you, because you can see everyone is these are rich people in the world, but they can't get that one chocolate. There's nothing there. Then there was, after 2 hours or something, we saw some of them fighting. They were rushing towards something. So I thought now the aeroplane has landed, that's why they're rushing to get onto the aeroplane. It was after about 2.5 hours that the people of the airport felt sorry for us, so they said, send some water. So as that water entered, these people were running now in case I don't get water. The way they ran for that thing, that you understood on the day of Qiyamah when there's thirst. How they ran to get that water. So in the ending, that's the only thing that kept us going, water. They used to give us water, nothing else. And then whatever time we landed, then I can't remember, it must have been about 6, 7, 8 hours that we stayed there. But it was hard, it wasn't easy. You walk around, and normally for the people of today, as long as you got internet connection, life can pass. Here there was one part which had internet connection. And the rest had no internet. So whoever needed, now you have to go in that part, you see the man standing there for a while, and then when he comes back. There was few people who were in a good mood. One is one old auntie. who was sitting near us. She had a book. Now, old auntie can't walk really anywhere. So wherever she's going to go, she's going to be sitting still. So she had a book and she was very happy that she's reaching page 300, 350, 400. So she was relaxed. Now and then I see her telling her husband that, don't worry of looking, when they're going, they'll call us. She just carried on. She was calm. Besides her, no one was calm because no one knew what to do. السَّفَرُ قِطْعَةٌ مِّنَ الْعَذَابِ. Then that aeroplane landed. They sent the aeroplane from Heathrow to fetch us. From Heathrow to Dublin takes 20 minutes by flight. But for the aeroplane to reach us took at least about 5 hours. I don't know for what reason, but the aeroplane landed in front of us. As it was there looking, then it moves away from us. Like you can see. It wants to go to one spot. Wherever it went. And now they say, get ready for boarding. Soon as I said, get ready, they got no names. So when they said, get ready for boarding, you said 300 people stand up immediately rushing for one door. And now they're fighting. We actually saw security come in with their weapons because these people were fighting now to get through that door. السَّفَرُ قِطْعَةٌ مِّنَ الْعَذَابِ. Then they told everyone, please sit, and then we're going to punish you all like a small child. You punish you, you won't get on the aeroplane. But they weren't punishing, they had no bus to take us to the aeroplane. That was the issue. So after a while I asked that one person, that why are you not letting us go through? So the issue was there's no bus. So the aeroplane is there, they're waiting for the bus. Finally the bus came. The bus can only take 50 people. So from here now, every 50 people get on, the bus takes a while, it takes about 7 minutes to go there, 7, 8, 9 minutes, then you get off, then 9 minutes to come back, so 10, 20 minutes now, 50 people. Then the others understood, go back to your seats, second 50 will go, third 50 will go, fourth 50 will go. By that time then another 2 buses came and then finally we got on. When we got on, they thanked us, they said, we thank you for your patience. That was a unique thank. And then together with that, the pilot said, we're so sorry, it slipped our mind. We should have sent some food for you all. It slipped our mind. So that was السَّفَرُ قِطْعَةٌ مِّنَ الْعَذَابِ. Then we flew. Then we landed in Canada. Everyone was so happy, like we're finally at home after so many hours. Then we went to get our bags. Where normally you think a first world country, your bags will be there before you. There was no bags coming out. No bags. It took 2 hours to get bags. 2 hours. It was the first time in my life I saw people sleep around that conveyor belt. They put their carpets down. I went, I made wuzu, I read my salah. I came back, I'm thinking I'm going to miss my bags. No bags still out. Then I went, I took out my Quran, I read my one para, walking around, seeing the airport, came back. People are sleeping around that conveyor belt. Then after 1.5 hours, bags started coming out, like 1.5, 2 hours. So it was very unique. But then as I went, I thought of this narration. السَّفَرُ قِطْعَةٌ مِّنَ الْعَذَابِ. Now that entire journey now, there were some people on that journey who were going to visit family. So will they get anything out of the journey itself? The most when they meet the family, they will say, at least I'm at home. But there is nothing called reward for the journey. There's nothing called reward. If it's a journey for deen, in every part of the journey, where every ah is said, you're going to get something. And if it's a journey to the harams, then even if they make you do this entire thing, where sometimes people have gone for Hajj and Umrah and their bags never came. 3-4 days they had no clothing. Difficult. Sometimes in the past, now at the moment Jeddah airport has been made very easy. We remember when we used to go, Jeddah airport people were such. We used to say in bayans that remember that the haram is the house of Allah. And it's the system of Allah that when you have something beloved, someone wants to come and see your daughter. Now you want to prove that really does he like my daughter. So what you do, you tell the father you must act very mean. When he knocks at the door, don't open. Don't open. Because if he really likes the girl, who will ever do this? If he really likes the girl, he'll wait outside 15 hours. He'll wait. Anyone will wait. No one in the world will wait. But by the haram, we used to say in the past, Allah put certain people in the airport who were like those father-in-laws. They had no interest at all in you. You can be on a wheelchair, you can be an old person, you'll see them talking. They had a fingerprint machine, that thing would never work. They had the money in the world, they couldn't change the machine, and then a certain time would come and it's a whole line there. And you just see the man saying, I'm going for my coffee. Head paining, gone. That whole line just stands there looking shocked. And can you complain? You couldn't complain to anyone. But that terrible attitude of theirs never managed to even stop one man from coming back to the haram. Never. Only place in the world. During that journey, whatever is hard, the taxis were hard, the guards were hard. Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man sabara ala la'wa'il Madina." Whoever will exercise patience over the difficulties and hardships of Medina Munawwara, kuntu lahu shafi'an yawm al-qiyamah. Then I will be his intercessor, in one narration, shaheedan. I will be witness for him. That he made the journey to visit me. It was so hard, the journey. These are those journeys that every cent that is spent, every cent. Some people say that Hajj and Umrah only gets more expensive. And it is true. This is the only thing that every cent, it's not that the journey itself later on has to prove that it was worth it. This is a journey that even before the journey starts, every cent is recorded by Almighty Allah. It is a journey in the love of Almighty Allah. In the Kitab, Shu'abul Iman, Hafiz Bayhaqi records a statement of Ka'b Ahbar. Shakatil Ka'batu ila rabbiha wa bakat ilay. The house of Almighty Allah once cried and complained. Shakat means to complain. Shakat al-Ka'batu ila rabbiha wa bakat. فقالت أي ربي قل زواري وجفان الناس. The people visiting me are very few. People have ignored me. I remember in the past, there was the Kaaba. Ibrahim alayhi salam had established the building. Before that, Adam alayhi salam had put it up. Till Noah alayhi salam's time, it was known exact. Then the floods came and washed away that whole area. After Noah alayhi salam, people journeyed in the land of the haram. They knew in this area is the house of Allah. Perhaps they even made tawaf, but they had to make tawaf over a very big area because the exact spot was now not noticed. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam was informed exactly where, point to point, and he made the markings. And then he put it up on its original foundations. Now it became easier for the people to make the journey. He was told, call. Ibrahim alayhi salam at that time will say, but who will make this journey? So far, over such mountains. It's not easy like to understand it. We can't understand it because we just go by car. But a person who's on a camel, he knows that a journey which is flat is very far. And in the haram there are journeys like that. Well, you just see them when you're driving there on the camel and just carry on. But the hardest journeys come when you go up a mountain and down a mountain. Because then if you look how many kilometers, you say you went nowhere. Because it took so long to go up, but you haven't gone straight. You just went up. Then you have to go down. Then you go up. This is the journey in those lands of mountains. So at that time, for people from Iraq, from Sham to make the journey, they would make it still. Imagine for that Hajj, that person would say, now we're going, the qafla is leaving. On the way there was a chance of getting attacked. There were certain times in Islamic Tariq where certain groups, at one time it was known as the worst of the Shia sects, they had settled in a certain land which was on the main route for the Hujjaj. There was no caravan that was going except that they were taking the honor of the caravan. There was a time when that year the ulama of the world said no Hajj this year. Meaning people from the lands must not go for Hajj. You are putting your land life in danger. Then there was a time between Makkah, Mukarramah, Medina, Munawwara. That land was very, very dangerous. Certain ulama had passed the ruling, go for Makkah, but don't go to Medina. And then there would be those scholars who say, I'll die on this journey, but I'm making the journey. Things were not easy. And before that, before this ummah, there was less people going. So the Kaaba complained, وَجَفَانِ النَّاسِ, people have ignored me. فَقَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى, Almighty Allah then said to the Kaaba, إِنِّي مُحْدِثٌ لَكِ إِنْجِيلًا, I am going to give you your shan. Injil means I am going to make you stand out unique in the world. Muhdithun laki Injil. If ever you see, whether you see a picture of the Kaaba, and you see those million people in sajda in front of it, or when you dare, and you just like stunned, although a person goes so many times, no matter how many times you go, you only understand the jalal of this house when you're standing in front of it. That time must think of this wording, Inni muhdithun laki Injil. I will give you a shan. I will make you stand out. When you stand in front of the Kaaba, you must look around you today and you will see the huge, huge hotels. Then you look at all the people around you and you will see not one of them is looking at the hotel's beauty. Otherwise he can be looking the other way. That hotel is higher and it got that clock. They had to make a round clock also, just to show like whether people want to believe it or not, but they wanted to show that I will look on you, you look at me. One person, when he was by the Kaaba, he was telling me, see the clock. I said, what a place to look at the clock like. Because you're supposed to look at the Kaaba. So he said, no, look at the clock. So he's telling me about the history of that clock tower, that you have to go in it. You pay a certain fee to go. So some people, they go for this. They came to the Kaaba, but they want to go see the clock. So there's a certain, if you stay in that hotel, you pay something and they take you into the clock building, whatever it is. And they said, now when you're looking at the clock, like how big you think that the needle is, the dial, like the thing that shows the seconds and the hour. So when you look at it, it looks like this clock here, like few centimeters. That's how it looks. He says, no. When you go there, he said, look at the buildings, like. So I can't remember now, it was too many years ago, but like 3 floors. So you can see one floor. That's when some people stay. Then there's another floor. Then there's another floor. He said, see the size of 3 floors. And then look at that thing there. And you'll see that is the size of 3 floors, like. Just that one. Just that one. That's why from far away when you enter, he said, before you'll see the Kaaba, you will see the clock. Before you see the Kaaba, you will see the clock. As-Sa'a. So when we entered it, I said, I'm not seeing the clock, I'm seeing the sign of Qiyamah. Because what's it called? As-Sa'a, isn't it? So when you will see, إِذَا رَأَيْتَ السَّاعَةَ, when you will see the hour. The clock is called the hour. But it's that same thing, that round. Why I would not be happy with it? So at that time when they just put it up, I said that we're in the era of the digital world. See our clocks in the masjid. The whole world can see 9:55, 21:55, digital world. In the era of the digital world, why do you put a round clock? They go tick, 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 tick. I said, this you would see in Britain when it was formed. The round face. They would call it, I don't know what they called it that time, Big Ben. Big Ben, Big Ben. And they would also say, Big Ben is watching you. Like, hi, that thing would be, hi, Big Ben. And wherever you are in England, like, Big Ben, because I think they had that clock, Big Ben, it faces 4 sides. Not so sure exactly so. It's here. So they would say, you can see the time wherever you are. But then the other way they say, no, we will be looking at you wherever you are. On every side is the clock, the round face, like, or you can call it one eye, looking at you every. So now when you came to Makkah Mukarramah, now who hasn't got watches, like, to say, I need to tell you the time, hurry up for Salah. As soon as you enter Makkah, I mean, they could have put anything there. But they put the clock. Then I looked at the clock, but I said, how Allah Tabarak Ta'ala made it, but they can never beat the system of Almighty Allah. So even there, like how high the thing is, there you will see Allahu Akbar. Something like that. No matter how high you will go, the Zat of Allah will always be higher. Now while you are around the Kaaba, you look at everyone, like, and they can look at all the buildings around them. So they look for a while and the interest goes away. And then again the eye will come back on the Kaaba. Inni muhdithun laki injila. If someone says it's the beautiful curtain of the Kaaba, then there are times when they lift that curtain. And then it got its own shan, without the curtain. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.